Welcome back to Time Serve, the channel that scans the docket so you don't have to. I cannot believe what I am hearing in this next case. From the paperwork is in my car, let me go get it, to I had a fake lawyer, to the money's gone. This defendant has literally done everything to get the cuff smacked on her wrist and a nice stay at the TDC where you receive 3 hots and a cot. And this was all provided by the taxpayers and our host, Judge Stephanie Boyd. I know you're going to comment below on this one. I cannot wait to read them, so keep them coming. Like and subscribe. Set your notifications to all. Let's roll, nerds.
No, ma'am. All right, we're here really for 2 reasons. One, on March 5th, the defendant was a no-show. The court had the case recalled for March 8th. The defendant was a no-show. And at that time, the court issued a bond forfeiture and remanded the defendant without bond. And then this case was set on March 23rd. The defendant appeared on Zoom, and I ordered that the defendant appear in the courtroom, and the defendant is present. So that's one issue to address. The other issue that needs to be addressed is the violation report. Have both the defense and the state received a copy of the violation report?
I haven't received the violation report, Your Honor, but defense and I have discussed.
All right, Norma, is there any way you could email to the state and the defense the violation report on Montoya Callahan?
Yes, it was emailed, but I'll email it again, Judge.
Thank you. So let's address then the first issue, which would be the fact that the defendant was to appear in court on March 5th, and the defendant was a no-show, and then the court recalled it for March 8th, and the defendant was a no-show. So is there a reason your client was not present?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know if it would be better for the court for me to give you the short summary or to let Miss Callahan speak directly to the court.
All right, do you want to call Miss Callahan as a witness?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Miss Callahan, if you could raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Montoya Callahan.
All right, I'm going to need you to make sure you speak up so the court reporter can hear you.
Yes, Montoya Callahan.
Now keep your mask on, but just speak up.
Okay.
All right. Defense?
Okay. Yes, Miss Montoya. So, were you aware that you had been charged with burglary of a habitation?
Yes.
Okay. And were you aware that you had a court date on March 5th?
No, sir.
Okay. And with the paperwork that you receive as far as when you were released on bond, did you go through all that paperwork, or did someone go through that paperwork with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did it have a March 5th date on it?
No, sir.
Okay. And at the time, did you have an appointed attorney?
No, sir.
Okay. So to the best of your knowledge, you did not have an appointed attorney on March 5th?
Correct. I declined court-appointed representation at that time.
When you were released?
Correct.
Okay. And when but you're familiar with a gentleman named Sean Keen Dawes, correct?
As of the March 7th, correct.
Okay. And so what happened? How are you familiar with him? What happened?
He called on a Sunday afternoon, told me that his name was Sean Keen Dawes, and that I missed a court date on the 5th, and the judge told him to call me and tell me that I needed to appear that Monday, the next day, or I would have a warrant for my arrest.
Okay. So now between the time that you were in jail and that March 7th call, had you hired an attorney?
I was under the impression that I had hired an attorney, correct.
Okay, so could you give a quick explanation of why you phrased it that way?
I was scammed. I'd given $4,500 to a man that presented himself as to be my attorney.
Okay.
My money.
How did you get in contact with this person?
Through a ex coworker of mine.
Okay. And so the ex coworker had what? Given you had asked about attorneys and he had given you a name?
Correct. When I originally caught the burglary of habitation, I was given that name by him.
Okay. And this person represented themselves to be an attorney?
Correct.
And did they say that they were going to take care of your case and dealings with the court and the whole?
Any correspondence he said would come from him. I hadn't heard from him at all.
Okay. So when you received that call on Sunday, it was from someone that you hadn't heard from prior, correct?
Correct.
And it wasn't the attorney you hired, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so the next day you didn't go, correct?
I actually made a lot of phone calls. I made a lot of phone calls that Sunday to the bail bondsman and tried to contact the person who I thought was my lawyer, and wasn't able to get in contact with him. But I was able to get in contact with the bail bonds company, which they told me that they only see a court date of March the 18th. Monday morning at 8 a.m., I called the courthouse. They said that they only saw a court date as well as of March 18th. And
Okay.
they did not see any court dates of the 5th or the 8th.
Okay. And you did double check to make sure you called the 187th, correct?
Correct, I did. I called the 187th. I actually called about 3 times. I called and spoke with a gentleman on the phone for roughly 20 minutes where he was trying to explain to me that there is no court date. He looked through everything. I had the bail bonds company also call down to the courthouse, and they contacted records, where records also let me know that there were several postcards mailed to me with the court date of March the 18th. Nothing was ever stated of the 5th nor the 8th.
Okay. And then what happened to this guy? When did you realize that he was?
As soon as I got the phone call from Sean King Dawes, I started to dig into this a little further, and I realized that it was a scam. That my money was taken, and there was really no real representation.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
one moment. To the clerks in the back, I want the events log for this case.
Yes, Judge.
All right, continue.
Okay. And since that time, you've hired me as an attorney, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the court date that you had on Tuesday, you knew about that court date?
Correct. Disrespected the judge's orders to appear. I would have been here if I'd known that I had court.
Okay. And is the court system new to you?
No, I'm familiar with the court system.
Okay. And what I mean by is the way that they have docket calls, the way that they pass information, things like that. Is that familiar to you?
Yes, I actually Googled court dockets on Sunday to see if my name was on court dockets for Monday, March 8th, and my name wasn't anywhere to be found. So I'm familiar with the process, and I was able to do some research to find out if whether or not I actually had a court date or not. It was always addressed to me that my court date was March 18th.
Okay. Now, I'd like to ask you real quick just about your finances. Are you and the bail bondsman still on good terms as far as your original bond?
Yes, the bail bondsman is saying that, as long as I keep up with my payments, that they're willing to continue on with my bond. There's no problem there. I check in regularly on Thursdays like I'm supposed to. And when I have any type of incidences where I can't pay immediately on that Thursday, I call and make arrangements, pay it the very next day. I've never had any issues with the bail bonds company.
Okay, and I assume that it goes without saying that you want to get right with the court or correct with the court so that you can begin attending and handle your business with the court, correct?
Most definitely. I have no intentions on running from this situation. I'm trying to get this behind me. I have a very good employment, and I would like to keep my job. I would like to maintain the up and upness so that I can be able to continue on with society.
Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness.
All right, State?
I have no questions, Judge.
All right, I do. What's the name of this guy? People keep saying some guy she gave money to. What's this guy's name?
His name is William James, ma'am. I have a telephone number for him that is now disconnected.
Has a police report been filed?
I haven't been able to get down there because I have a warrant for my arrest, so I didn't want to go and job up all of this stuff here. I haven't been able to do any of that.
And I'm looking at the B page or the event logs page from this case, and it shows that there was a court date set for her on March 8th.
And that is a court date that I was totally unaware of. I actually did call in, as I said, on March 8th.
No, March 8th is the court date that you just said that Sean Dawes told you that
Right.
you were supposed to appear. You didn't. And now the court is allowing you to show up on March 8th. Now I'm hearing talk that there is some person that you gave money to. No police report has ever been filed for.
Correct.
Nobody knows who this person is.
Correct.
And I'm showing where there actually was a court date for March 8th.
And I did call on March 8th at 8 a.m. And that's when I was told that my court date was not on March 8th. It is on March 18th.
No, there's no way that somebody in this office would have told you your court date is March 18th, because this is the printout and it shows that your court date is on March 8th.
Ma'am,
It's here.
I swear I would never lie to the
Ms.
court.
Callahan, yeah. So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to butt in, Judge.
No. Mr. Anders, if you want this sent over you, this can be sent over you. But it shows that her court date was March 8th. She didn't show. Sean Dawes called her, informed her that her court date was March 8th. There's no way that the clerks here would have said that your court date isn't March 8th. The only time they would have said, no, your court date is not March 8th, is if it was after the March 8th date. Because then after that date, when a bond forfeiture was issued, there would have been other dates that came up. But she was supposed to be here on March 8th. Now, does it show in here her next court date after March 8th is March 18th? Because that's the date where it says it's a waiting trial, yes. But she missed her March 8th court date.
So is there in the order of the entry, and I don't know where we are in the process of asking questions or not asking questions.
No, I mean, you said you have no questions for her. The defense doesn't have any questions for her. I don't have any questions for her. I'm just telling you what's on the event log.
Yes, Your Honor. And so I guess my question about the event log is, if someone is looking at the event log, which date is at the top of the listing of the event log? Is March 8th on top? So that if I'm looking from top to bottom, I would run into the March 8th first, or I would run into the March 18th first?
It depends. If the first date for this is actually September 24th, 2019. That's the first date on here.
Sure.
And it goes in chronological order. So, for example, if I were to call, and if I were your client, and if I were to call and say, when's my court date? It would have today's date on here showing that she has a setting today.
Correct.
So, for example, and this shows she had a court date on March 8th, and we're here on April 1st, and she calls the court and says, is my court date on March 8th? They're not going to be looking at the March 8th court date because that date has passed. They're looking at current dates.
Right. What I mean is that if I am a clerk and I am looking I don't know what their screens look like. So if I'm going down the screen, the first entry that I see is, I don't believe would be September 24th.
No, it's not.
The most recent entry.
Yes.
And so my question is, so the most recent entry is up at the top. So if I'm going from the top to the bottom, does it say March 18th and then underneath it March 8th? Or does it say March 18th and then above it March 8th? Because if I'm a clerk and I'm going down the the list and I look and I see March 18th, I might be inclined to say March 18th because that's the first.
Here's the thing.
Pardon?
Attorney Sean Dawes picked up the phone, called your client, and told her she needs to be here. Period.
And at the time, she was unaware that Mr. Sean Keen Dawes was her attorney. She thought that she had actually paid another attorney to say, and that attorney said, "Don't worry, I'm going to take care of all the dates."
Mm-hmm. And then not only do we have that, we have her picking up a new offense while she's on bond for this case.
And Your Honor, we can, if I may, I can ask her about, I guess a little bit about it, but I don't want to get too far into the particulars.
I mean, I'm not. You don't have to ask her the facts about that because it's clear that she's been arrested for that. I mean, has that case been dismissed?
It hasn't been dismissed as of yet, but Mr. Garcia is taking a hard stand on that one. So all I can say is that I believe that one will be settled at some point in time. But right now, it's just an accusation, just like all of them are.
Right, I understand. But what I'm dealing with right now is, one, she didn't show up for court. She had a court date. I don't have any proof of the fact that she gave somebody $4,500. Where did you get the $4,500 from? Is that out of your bank account?
Yes, ma'am, I work. I've been paying payment.
No, I just want you to listen to my question.
Sure.
Did you take $4,500 out of your bank account to give to this person?
In payments, correct.
When did you take that out?
For every 2 weeks since I caught the case. Since I caught the case in.
So how much were you taking out?
$500 every 2 weeks.
And did you see him?
No.
To give him this money?
No, no, it was cash out and out of my banking account to my cash out and to him. I have proof of all of that.
All right, then she needs to show me proof that she's given him this money.
I can, ma'am. I promise I would not lie to you. I swear.
I believe that could be arranged, Your Honor, in fairly short order.
All right, what do you mean by fairly short order?
Ms. Montoya, how quickly do you think that you could produce documentation of the withdrawals from your bank account?
My phone is in my car right now in the parking lot.
And you could allow the bailiff to take your phone and show show Judge Boyd, or
I can pull it up for Judge Boyd. I sure can.
Okay, why would you leave your phone in your car?
Because I thought I was going to be arrested.
But what are you doing with your car? Like your car is just going to stay wherever it's parked?
Yes, it's parked there until 1:30. I was going to try to make arrangements for someone to come and pick it up if you had detained me today.
And how was that going to happen?
I don't know. I don't know what to do past that. I was just going to make some phone calls and see if someone can pick up my car.
All right, this is what I'm going to do. Deputy Laura?
Yes, Judge.
I'm going to restate her bond. I want her to go get her phone. So I'm gonna recall the warrant and reinstate the bond. And you're gonna go get your phone and you're gonna come here with proof that you've actually taken that out of your account and given it to this person.
I promise, Judge Boyd.
Thank you, Judge.
We'll wait for you to come back. Where's your car parked?
My car is parked right across in between Flores and what's this, Nuevo? Right in between there, right on the other side of this building here.
All right. I'm going to reinstate the bond and recall the warrant. We haven't addressed the violation report yet, so we're going to wait and address that when she comes back.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Much later.
All right. Do you have the information?
No, I'm having a hard time accessing my account and all of the proof that I need to access for you today.
Oh.
please.
I'm asking you if you could please give me a week to gather all of this information.
No, I mean, it would be in your phone. That's what you told me.
I know that my account, the Dave account that I had, has since been closed, and it's hard for me to get the statements from that Dave account right now.
Why is that account closed? I don't understand.
It was just like a prepaid card that I used to use, and I no longer use it anymore. I had reported some fraud activity on there, and they closed the account. I still have them. I just don't have that account where I accessed, where I paid the attorney.
So who did you state that account had fraud activity to?
Oh, to Dave. There were 2 transactions that I didn't authorize from.
Okay, your story is beginning not to make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the actual situation there. I'm saying that's why my account was closed, and they gave me a new account with a new card. So now those statements from before, it's hard for me to get in contact with someone right now to get those statements from the previous account.
James Anders, I want you to understand. I think you understand where I'm coming from, James, right?
I do.
It's like,
if I could, Ms. Montoya, this account that's closed, how are you going to be able to, like, what is the process? Do they have a number that you can call?
We're not on the record. If you want to take her in a breakout room and talk to her, you can. But let me just tell you what I find odd. And maybe this is just me finding it odd. She says she speaks to a guy, gives him $4,500 from this account.
Right.
I'm like, okay. Who is this person? Has a police report been filed? No. Then she says, well, I gave it to him through this account. Okay. Do you have a bank account? Show me where you gave it to him. Then it's like, oh, no, I did it on this card. Okay. Then how much were you paying a month? $500 a month. Do you have this information? Yes, I do. It's in my car. I left my phone in my car because I figured I was going into custody today, and I'm just going to walk across the street. And that was the longest walk across the street in history. So now she comes back and says, oh, that account has been closed because of fraud. So this is the next thing I want then. She's saying that account has been closed because of fraud. I'm looking at the time. It's 3:45 p.m. When did you call them to say you needed that account closed because of fraud?
Oh, this has been like about a month ago.
No, you said today. Did I hear that wrong? You said you had that account closed today.
No, ma'am, I did not say that. I'm saying that account was closed before because I had previously reported some charges that I didn't.
So you're saying that account was closed a month ago?
Right.
And when would that have been?
I'm not exactly sure the dates. But
no, just give me a month.
Roughly about February, something around that time frame.
Okay, when in February? Early February, late February?
I'd say around the 4th or 5th, something like that. And I seen some unauthorized charges. I reported them, and I closed my account, and they gave me another one. On day.
So now I really don't understand. So her account is being closed around February 4th or 5th. And she's saying she got this attorney. And the reason why she didn't listen to Sean Dawes was because somebody hired another attorney for her. Her timeline is not adding up. But I don't understand how she's taking money out of this account that she says she closed due to fraud. And so it's closed, but yet she's still able to give $4,500 to this attorney who's not a real attorney from an account that has been closed.
Ms. Montoya, when were you arrested? Do you recall when you were arrested for your or when you were released on bond for your charge, burglary of a habitation?
January 8th, I believe.
Okay, and so you had from January 8th to early February to produce money from this account to give to an attorney, correct?
So there was.
But here's the thing. No, she's saying she did this through Cash App. Well, so she should be able to produce that. So I want that produced. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to give you till tomorrow to produce that. You coming back here tomorrow. You're going to be in court tomorrow, and it better be an account with your name on it.
Okay.
and not somebody else where you just try to find somebody where you can see that somebody is having $500 in intervals leave their account.
There was an original payment of $1,100. I just want to clarify that first. $1,100, and then there were 2 more payments of $500.
Prove it, bitch.
That doesn't even add up to $4,500.
I know, and
Is my math off, Brenda?
but I
1,100 plus 500 is
No, I'm-
1,600. And if you add 500 to that, isn't that 2,100?
and I'm trying to
Yes.
figure out the other ways that I paid him because I can't remember exactly where I paid him from. I have several different ways to pay the man.
James, we got a problem. I hope you understand the problem we have, right?
I do, Your Honor. What time tomorrow would it be possible for Ms. Montoya to come and make things clear to the court?
I mean, I'm pretty much clear, but I know, Ms. Montoya,
Yes.
when you come in here tomorrow, don't bring in a fake paperwork because that's just going to compound the situation. Let me tell you what I've learned from my time on the planet. I consider myself very old, but people say, no, you're not that old. But you know what I've learned? It's like at some time, it's best to just lay it on the line and say, this is what I did. I'm sorry. It'll never happen again. But sometimes when you start weaving stories and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. So I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. James, before you leave, do you need to talk to your client in the back breakout room to make sure that she's not bringing false documents in this court tomorrow?
No, ma'am. We're in a good contact. So
No, I mean, like, do you need to talk to her and let her know, do not bring false documents in here tomorrow?
yes, ma'am. I'll call her immediately after we recess this, and tomorrow morning I expect this to be cleared up one way or the other.
9 a.m. Don't leave. We're going to give you a reset form.
Okay.
And let me explain something right now, Mr. Montoya.
Yes, ma'am.
If Mr. Anders calls you, it's March, if a leprechaun calls you or somebody else calls you and tell you don't have a court date, you still need to show up because I'm telling you, you need to be in this court tomorrow at 9 a.m. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And we're going to give you a reset form before you leave.
What's a reset form? Just
Oh, it's a form saying that you have been given notice that you need to be in court. And as a matter of fact, let's do this. Brenna, we're going to go on the record. We're back on the record in 2020 CR 0810, State of Texas versus Montoya Callahan. This is a continuation of the hearing. Miss Callahan, you are to be in court tomorrow, March 26th at 9 a.m., the 187 District Court. It's on the 4th floor, 300 De La Rosa, in the Cadena Reeves Justice Center. And for the record, it will be noted that the defendant is in the courtroom of the 187 District Court. So the court is assuming that the defendant knows where the courtroom is located and knows how to get here.
yes, ma'am. Most definitely. Thank you.
And the defendant tomorrow is informing the court that she's going to bring proof that she has paid money to a mysterious non-attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll close the record.
Thank you.
The next morning.
Announced for the record for the state,
Laura Betzler for the state.
for the defense.
James Anders.
And are you Miss Callahan?
Yes, ma'am.
Liar!
For the record, Miss Callahan is in the courtroom. Any objections from the state of the defense that we proceed by video?
No, ma'am.
No, Your Honor.
All right, and for the record, this is not one of the court's in-person days. However, this is a hearing that began yesterday, which was one of the court's in-person days, and it was continued today because the defendant stated that she had information that would help the court in its decisions. Again, for the record, this case was originally set March 5th. The defendant was a no-show. Her attorney at that time was Sean King Dawes. The court recalled the case for March 8th for Sean King Dawes to see if he could get in touch with his client to come in for that date. The defendant testified that Sean King Dawes informed her of her March 8th court date, but the defendant did not show for that court. And on that date, the court issued a bond forfeiture and remanded the defendant without bond. And we were here yesterday. And Ms. Callahan, do you have information for the court to your allegations or your insistence that you paid a fictional attorney $4,500?
I am trying to obtain the statements from that card that I make those payments directly to him from, which I was told by them today that it's going to take 1 to 2 business days in order for it to be faxed to Mr. Anders. Mr. Anders was live on three-way with the company where they did say that those were their policies and it would be faxed on Monday morning, the 29th.
All right, so you don't have any documentation today?
I have faxed over to Mr. Anders a little bit of documentation where I was loaned money for half of the money for the lawyer from a family member. And that,
No, this is the documentation that the court wants. You've told me several different stories. The first story was you hired an attorney who was not an attorney,
Correct.
that you were paying him in payments $500 each. Then towards the middle of the day, you said, no, I gave him a payment of $1,100 and then paid the rest installments. And I asked you to provide proof of that. Then you said, oh, I will get you proof of that. Then all of a sudden you said, oh, I canceled a card today. And that would have been on March 25th. You said you canceled that card on March 25th.
No,
and
ma'am.
then you changed the story and said, no, I didn't cancel it on March 25th. I canceled it on another day. So the court has given you ample opportunity. And honestly, you've had opportunities since March 8th.
That is one big pile of shit.
To bring the court a reason why you didn't show up for that date. It is now March 26th. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to reinstate the warrant, and I'm going to increase your bond to $25,000. All of the previous conditions will remain in effect. So if there is nothing else from either side.
Nothing from the state judge.
Your Honor, the only thing that I would ask is if it would be possible to perhaps do maybe like a shock over the weekend so that she'd be able to keep her job for, the current job that she has. If the court wants to impress upon her the gravity of the situation, I do believe that she has, over the past 2 days, knowing that there's a very real possibility of her being taken into custody, she has, over the past 2 days, shown up. She didn't just get a chance to run and then take off. While I understand the court's position and the position of the ADA as far as her behavior in the past, I believe that Ms. Callahan would like to show up to court, would like to have her day in court, and would like to be able to fight this from the outside.
But the issue is that, she hasn't shown up. And yesterday, she informed the court yesterday that her car was parked across the street. That has to have been the longest walk across the street to come back to court. And then she said she had a phone in the car with the information, and she had neither.
Well,
so it would seem to me the simplest way, if she's really insistent upon proving that she gave some fictional attorney some money, one, where's her friend to say, oh, I recommended this attorney to her? But for now, this is the court's ruling. Defense, if you want to present me with something on another day, then of course I'm always open to considering it, and I will keep an open mind.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Can I please just address her? I don't want to.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I said, can I please address? I don't want to upset you. I just
No,
wanna-
here's the thing, Miss Callahan.
Yes.
I don't get upset about this. I keep an open mind on everything, but the information that you presented to me, it doesn't ring true because your story keeps changing. So that's where I am right now. And sometimes the best policy is the truth, right? If you missed a date on March 8th, fine. If your attorney told you, which he did, to be here on March 8th, and who knows, maybe you didn't show up because you're at your job. You can't lose your job, and that's the reason why you didn't show up. It would have been nice just to say that and be honest, but your story continues to change to the court. And so right now, what's going to end up happening is you're going in custody.
Okay.
And Mr. Anders, if there's anything you want to bring to me